there's no way you can describe that as anything other than an ugly, lucky, insipid display. And let's be fair, we got away with one there. We really, really did. I do want to say something though. There was a comment or two in the live chat and said same old West Ham, and I addressed this in the review afterwards. That's not same old West Ham. It really wasn't. Same old West Ham loses that game. We just do. We have traditionally lost them down the years. We've lost them relatively recently. I've had the bad luck to witness a few of them as well. We got through in that game. I don't want to say it was by luck more than judgment, because I just think the first team, the starting 11 was all very, very wrong. And we do have a world-class player, a little bit at the moment, that can help drag us through and get us through there. And that's what happened. It's not just old West Ham where we're relying on, a little bit of something to take us through. Declan Rice is a world-class player, and that very much showed. It was quite apparent how wrong the starting 11 was by the fact that he made all the substitutions he possibly could. And this is a manager in David Moyes doesn't like making too many substitutions. We all know this. Look, he had a plan. I understand why he put that team out. It wasn't necessarily the team that I would put out, or that myself and Gio, when we did our breakfast show, build-up show, we thought that there should be there. But it was a gamble. And the gamble was by David Moyes. David Moyes saying, I believe this team is good enough to get me through against Kidderminster, so as the players on Tuesday are fresh. So what he wanted to do, he did not want players such as Declan Rice and, I guess Zuma as well. We'll get to that in just a minute. Cresswell, Souček, all these sort of players. He didn't want them playing 90 minutes. Do you know what? Because of the extra time, they pretty much almost did. Declan Rice would have been as knackered by that as he would have been if he'd have started with Declan Rice, basically. So that didn't work. He ended up having to use all the players. The only player, and I don't know what has happened with him at all, the only player who you can really say might have been rested would have been Lanzini. Lanzini is the only person that maybe is fresher because of it, but I'm not even sure that he's not injured. I know Antonio didn't play, but the man's jet-lagged. You can't say that Antonio is rested. So this is not good. By and large, it failed because the team he selected didn't allow the others to get a rest because of the extra time and the fact that they were all brought on. Soufal, I guess, it had a little bit of a rest there. And I mean, my word, I never thought I'd miss him so much. I really did, looking at that team and looking at the performance there. But there were a lot of really bad performances. It's really hard to try and give an even appraisal of that without digging loads of people out. There's not an awful lot of nice stuff to say about many of the players. But I do maintain what I say, though. West Ham traditionally lose that game. And whilst it wasn't thrilling, it was awful. It was an awful game. Whilst it wasn't an entertaining match, we are through to the next round. But that doesn't mean that we don't discuss what's just happened. And that was pretty poor stuff, really. I don't know why we had no urgency. We just didn't seem up for it at all. And it wasn't as if there was a bunch of people who don't understand the league or don't understand what the FA Cup was all about. We had people on there. We had people with Premier League experience and English players on there, people with FA Cup experience. I just don't understand what that was all about. You've obviously all heard what I had to say about Yarmolenko in the review afterwards. I'm not normally one of these people that says that I get embarrassed by things that other people do. I find it quite hard to be embarrassed. I can embarrass myself, don't get me wrong, and I can be embarrassed by it, but I don't even get embarrassed by other people. You know, like when people watch like the early rounds of X Factor and whatever it is, and they say, oh, that was embarrassing. It's not really embarrassing for you. You're watching it. It's embarrassing for him if he's up there and he's getting booed off or whatever the case may be. So I'm not normally embarrassed by other people's actions, but that did embarrass me, and it does say it took me back to Masuaku's spitting, and I just did not like what I saw at all. I'm not saying cheating is allowed or cheating should be is better against the big boys than the smaller teams. I don't like the cheating at all. That's why I call it out when anyone does it against West Ham. But it just seemed worse because it was Kidderminster and it was a lot to like, wasn't there, about I don't know, the stadium, the fans, Did you see they got the chairman on the pitch at half time and everything, and the way they're taking the cameras around the streets and the local shops and the bakery and all the rest of it, and how much of a community it was and how much it meant to them. And when everybody was talking about how this fixture had secured their money for the next 2 years to run their club, it's just a good news story. And there was just something infinitely wrong about this multi-millionaire throwing himself to the ground when he could have carried on and had a shot to try and cheat West Ham's way through to the next round. We've been so crap that somebody took it upon themselves to try and cheat their way through. I have no doubt about this, by the way. I have no doubt that Mark Noble is going to read Yarmolenko the riot act. Not that it matters. It was already briefing people, or was it his agent? I don't know, in the week that he wanted to leave West Ham and his time was up. We've all known Yarmolenko's time was up for a long, long time. And I don't want to. It's easy to out him on this one, but there were a lot of really bad performances. I guess anyone can have a bad game. I think for everybody, almost everybody, to have a bad game on the same day, that's the sort of performance you get. You take the bad game, I guess. You really do take the bad game. But when there's massive cheating involved, I don't know how he didn't get booked. How did he not get booked? I really don't know. Can you imagine? Can you imagine the embarrassment? Thank goodness the referee didn't buy it. Can you imagine if that would have been how we won? Like that. It would have been terrible. You just wouldn't have had to... Honestly, you would have to hang your heads in shame. Literally, as I say, it's not even you or I that did it. But, just a real weasel thing to do from him, by the way. Yarmolenko, I would anticipate that he's just not going to feature very much at all anymore. Needs must, I guess. But this is an opportunity for David Moyes to go and blood someone like Occo Flex. I know Occo Flex is on the other side of the pitch, but realistically, it's not just the dive in, it's the way he played. He just he couldn't be bothered at all, which is why Moyes switched him to play up front, because he's not got the legs to play on the right wing anymore. He couldn't be asked. But basically, I think he dived because he couldn't be asked to run after the ball and shoot. That's how it looked to me anyway. Maybe you'd disagree. And you know what? Just give the youngsters a go. I mean, you can't... No one can play any worse than that. Yes, I know he had the shot, and the shot sort of got a ricochet. Cresswell had the resulting shot, and then it bounced out, and so on and so forth, and Bowen ended up putting it back in, and maybe maybe VAR might have called Souček into account for offside. That doesn't matter. The goal was messy, wasn't it? But the whole performance was messy. I guess it's sort of quite apt that West Ham would go through with such a goal. But I've got to discount Yarmolenko's role in it. I just believe, get a youngster on there, give him a go, give somebody else a go. And let's just not see Yarmolenko feature much anymore. It's not been a successful transfer since he signed from Borussia Dortmund. He's been injured most of the time. Just ain't really worked out. And, we'll always remember I was going to say always remember. I almost forgot it then. The goal against Chelsea on the counter-attack. Absolutely great. But I just don't think there's any need for that. We all talk about the Moyes MOT. And the Moyes MOT is, as we know, is when he goes and scouts a player. It's not just about ability, it's about attitude, it's about everything, and about how they can integrate into the team and their work ethic and all the stuff. And you just look at Yarmolenko and you think, well, Moyes would never have signed this player. Yeah, he wouldn't have signed this player. Whereas you look at someone like Fornals. Fornals is all about the attitude, isn't he? Even when he's not playing well, he gives 100%. He's a massive team player, isn't he? He's completely immersed in being at West Ham. He said things like, I can imagine growing up, and if my dad had worked at Dagenham and I'd have supported West Ham as a kid. He just gets it. He gets West Ham, doesn't he, really? So it doesn't matter that Moyes didn't sign Fornals, because he's that. You could just get the impression he would pass the Moyes criteria, wouldn't he? Yarmolenko wouldn't, and I just think that's enough. Look, Yarmolenko's not the only one out of that game. He's really, really not. I mean, I've already been banging on for 9 minutes already about this. But there's. I just thought it was really, really, really needed to be discussed. We got a game on Tuesday anyway. Maybe I'll do a little video tomorrow. Maybe go into just some other stuff from the game. But we go to Tuesday now with a team that aren't fit and fresh, which was surely the whole point. Luckily, we got through, and we did get through. Again, there was another comment on the chat afterwards, which said, sorry, did we lose or something? It was a sarcastic comment, did we lose or something? I mean, I don't know why the comment was there. It was almost as if we won, what are we meant to do? Give everyone 10 out of 10? You got to call it as you see. Old Kidderminster were fantastic. Really fantastic. We were bloody awful. Absolutely bloody awful. We got through at the end. Somebody was again making the point that Kidderminster did 20 odd blocks. Again, I don't disagree with that, but it's sort of it gives the wrong impression. By just giving that stat, you'd almost say, oh, Kidderminster were only still in the game because they were lucky because they were throwing their bodies on the line of blocking. That doesn't really tell the story of what happened. You can use that as the narrative, but it doesn't. It's not reflective of what happened and just how many individual errors there were from West Ham, just how West Ham lacked the urgency, just how West Ham's play was so poor, just how we got the starting lineup so wrong that Moyes ended up making 5 substitutions. If you just said that they made 20 blocks, you're sweeping it under the carpet. That's what you're doing. And I don't think it deserves to be swept under the carpet. I think those players should be... I was going to say, you can't put them in for extra training because they're going to be knackered. They're playing on Tuesday. But I think they need to know. They need to understand that just wasn't acceptable in any way, shape or form in terms of performance. But you can deal with that. You know, you can improve on performance. You can do that sort of thing. What you can't do is... I think is really explain to Yarmolenko why that was wrong. Yarmolenko, he did it to try and win the game, I guess. When I said I didn't like he could be asked to run for the ball, maybe I'm being a little bit flippant there, but he did it. He tried to cheat. He pretended he'd been kicked in the leg and fell over to try and win West Ham the game, and he hadn't been kicked in the leg. It really is as simple as that. And there's just no point if he doesn't know that's wrong and why it's wrong, particularly against such a small community club such as that, then there's no point explaining it. He just ain't going to get it. It just doesn't. It's just better if he's not involved in future. I think so. Anyway, I'm sure Moyes will use him. I'm sure he's to use on the bench, but would like to see this as an opportunity for Moyes to start using some of the younger lads. Anyway, I've been going on for far too long. I'll catch up with you tomorrow.